study was done by Cole and Scribner 1974. This study is to see the effect of culture, that is the attitudes and everything, on our cognitive processes. So Cole and Scribner used an emic approach to see how culture could affect memory. They wanted to see the effect that schooling would have on the strategies that children use to memorize list of words. Cole and Scribner 1974 studied the development of memory among tribal people in rural Liberia compared to children in the US. They looked at both Liberian children in school and those that were not attending school. To overcome the barriers of language and culture, these researchers observed everyday cognitive activities before conducting their experiments and worked closely with the university-educated local people who acted as experimenters. The aim of the study was to see if culture had a different effect on how one memorizes. They were given a free recall task in which they were shown a large number of objects, one at a time, and then asked to remember them. This kind of memory is called free recall because people are free to recall the items in any order they wish. So below is a list of 20 objects used in several of Cole and Scribner studies. The list shows that the objects appear to fall into 4 distinct categories. To make sure that the list was not too ethnocentric and thus foreign to the Liberian participants, the researchers ran a pilot study to make sure that Liberian participants were familiar with the words. So the words were in the 4 different categories. The first category had plate, calabash, pot, pan, cup. The second category was cutlass, hoe, knife, file, hammer. The third category, potato, onion, banana, orange, coconut. The fourth category, trousers, singlet, head tie, shirt, hat. Now, the researchers found out that unlike the children in school, the children who were not attending school shown no regular increase in memory performance after the age of 9 or 10. These participants remembered approximately 10 items on the first trial and managed to recall only 2 more items after 15 practice trials. The Liberian children who were attending school, by contrast, learned the material rapidly, much the way school children of the same age did in the United States. School children in Liberia and the United States not only learned the list rapidly, but used the categorical similarities of items in the list to aid their recall. After the first trial, they clustered the responses. For example, they would recall items of clothing, then items of food, and so on. The non-school Liberian participants did very little clustering, indicating that they were not using the categorical structure of the list to help them remember. In a later trial, the researchers varied the recall task so that the objects were now presented in a meaningful way as part of a story. The unschooled children recalled the objects easily and actually chunked them according to the roles they played in the story. Now, memory studies like these invite reflection. It seems that even though the ability to remember is universal, strategies for remembering are not universal. Generally, schooling presents children with a number of specialized information processing tasks, such as organizing large amounts of information in memory and learning to use logic and abstract symbols in problem solving. It is questionable whether such ways of remembering have parallels in traditional societies like Catholic children studied by Cole and Scribner. The conclusion is that people learn to remember in ways that are relevant to their everyday lives. And these do not always mirror the activities that cognitive psychologists use to investigate mental processes. Feel free to write in the comments below and I would try my best to answer your questions. And if you liked my video, please like, share and subscribe.